Jan Ozer here at Mile High Video with Guido Meardi, who is the CEO, founder of Vnova. We've spoken to him many times before. Thanks for joining me, Guido.
Thank you, Jan. It's always a pleasure to see you.
So you're here again with Vnova. Tell us what's new.
Well, here we are showing the big news of the last few months, which is the big deployment in Brazil of SBTVD TV3. Actually, the commercial name will be DTV+. It's a very big deal in the industry. It's been known for a couple of years that it was coming. The big news is that it's coming on time and on target, and it's the most sophisticated broadcast standard ever. It's the best of all the best technologies in the planet. We are proponents of LCEVC and VVC, so of course, from a video codec point of view, it has the best of best, a combination of VVC and LCEVC. It has immersive audio with MPEG-H. It has all the interactive features that allow monetization in the best possible way. It has, for the first time ever, MIMO delivery in the physical layer, which means that the spectrum will be used in a super efficient way. And this will allow, with the power of compression, with channels of Ultra HD, P60, HDR, immersive audio within 10 megabits, for these channels to be delivered without antennas on the rooftops.
Let me just interrupt. Taking a step back, what does that mean for LCEVC adoption?
Well, for LCEVC adoption, of course, is phenomenal because it means this is not a trial like the ones we've done in the past years at the Olympics or the World Cup. It's not a test. It's a deployment to hundreds of millions of people, and it's a very serious one. The entire ecosystem is deploying LCEVC, so chipsets for TVs, set-top boxes. We've known in the past year, Realtek, Amlogic had already announced integration within their chipsets, both with hybrid software, hardware models and full hardware ASIC in the future. So it's a big deal because it's important for Latin America, but it's also important for the entire planet because this support from decoders and encoders means that everybody in the planet will be able to use it. Plus, also the big news last week is that ATSC.
Let me just ask you one question. I know that you were. I love the licensing policy you came up with. You're charging the publishers. So how does this work for you in a broadcast sense? If you're part of the
that's a good question because in terms of broadcast, we were asked by LATAM to join essentially the SBTVD model. So for what concerns broadcast, we departed from the normal streaming licensing model of LCEVC and we joined essentially the same licensing model of all the SBTVD technologies. So it'll be a minor component of the whole SBTVD charge. Of course, LCEVC is a part of it, and it's actually always priced pretty competitively. So, basically a very small part of it, but it's still good for us, and it's actually a model more compatible with broadcast. So we will keep the same model for streaming, but broadcast will follow, especially in Latin America, that model because that's what we were asked for.
Okay, so the publishers won't pay the royalty, it'll be paid with the hardware.
Exactly. So not by global or the broadcasters, but essentially it'll be paid in the devices as a one-off.
Okay, tell us about ATSC. That's a big deal, and that just came out in the last month or so.
Yeah, ATSC, very big deal, also because it's the first time that we have essentially a Pan-American standard shaping up, plus Korea and parts of Africa. Essentially, since SBTVD had done such a good job at taking a best of technologies, and SBTVD includes the physical layer of ATSC. ATSC now absorbed the codec specifications of SBTVD in the updated specification for ATSC. So this means VVC and LCEVC are now part officially since last week of ATSC 3. And that's a very, very important news because the combination of these technologies pretty much repeating what's been shown in Brazil in the past year will allow also in North America very interesting things in broadcast. And it's important because broadcast is not dead. Broadcast is actually well alive, especially when you use all the best of best technologies. Spectrum is very valuable. That mode of transmission has a place in the next years. And of course, streaming is fundamental. UGC is fundamental, but certain things are not going away, and certainly broadcast is not going away anytime soon, especially when it's done right, like with these technologies.
Okay, so most people associate Vnova with, or if not exclusively, primarily with the with LCEVC.
Yeah.
What other lines of business do you have?
Yeah, thank you for the question, because in reality there's much more to Vnova than LCVC. First of all, Vnova is a technology powerhouse. We have 1,200 patents. We fully own 3 coding standards, aside from MPEG-5 LCVC, that is our claim to fame, if you want, but we have Vnova Presence, with which we are revolutionizing XR, allowing to immerse people within a movie with the quality of a movie, but the possibility to move around in 6 degrees of freedom, because it's a volumetric format, technically speaking, a point cloud format, and the first format that compresses super high quality point clouds temporally, allowing levels of quality that were impossible to achieve before, and in particular allowing a new market to come about, because we created a system that takes the workflows of CG and VFX, so the computer graphics that we see in the cinema, think Avatar 2 or Mufasa, Moana 2 or stuff like that, and it's possible now to be inside those movies and move around like in a video game, and it's fantastic. We've shown stuff with NVIDIA that is extremely compelling, also because we are in partnership with their delivery methodology using the NVIDIA GDN, and exciting things are coming about there. And then another line of business that is more and more important, and you will probably hear a lot about it, is what we are doing in AI and generative AI. Of course, every company, every respectful technology company must have an AI pillar, and we definitely do. Essentially, we've been working, again, also in partnership with NVIDIA, to demonstrate very, very strong benefits in both content search, media indexing activities, but also training and inference of generative AI models when visual transformers are involved. And that's because a lot of people are focusing currently to optimize AI, working on the engines, so working on the foundational models or working on the silicon architectures. But when you talk about images and video, the fuel that you put in the engine has a role in making the engine more efficient. And essentially using hierarchical, massively parallel data models, which is what Vnova is about. Vnova is all about hierarchical, massively parallel, low complexity encoding. This is actually extremely compatible with the way in which AI works. AI is hierarchical, massively parallel, so essentially being able to access and process the data in that way speeds up AI, eliminates memory bottlenecks, processing bottlenecks, decoding bottlenecks, and we are showing multifold improvements, so several times, like 3x, 4x improvements in very relevant activities of generative AI and AI. So we are active in a lot of things, not just in media. Our technologies are deployed also in security and defense. We've shown something also publicly, like the surveillance drones that patrol, the most sophisticated ones that patrol the Mediterranean, have installed LCVC. Actually, they were among the first deployments of MPEG-5 LCVC. So, aside from media entertainment, we're also active in other industries. But most importantly, our pillars are video, XR, and AI.
Okay. And how bullish are you on VVC? I mean, it sounds like LCEVC and VVC are pulling each other forward in at least one or two standards, or 2 now standards more coming, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on VVC. We're working, we are a patent holder and a promoter of VVC as well. Of course, we don't own all of it like in LCVC, but we are very, very bullish on VVC as an excellent technology. It has a lot of benefits that companies are starting to figure out, and the combination LCVC VVC is particularly helpful in Brazil. It proved to be critical, also in ATSC. But aside from broadcast, we are working with big partners also to show the big benefits in mobile deployment, because essentially, even when hardware decoding isn't available, the combination of LCVC and VVC makes it possible to decode with sustainable battery consumption, also with software decoding. At the transcoding, LCVC makes VVC three times faster. So aside from the benefits in compression, but the most important thing is faster encoding, much lower battery power at decoding. It makes it feasible to deploy VVC at scale today already to a very, very high percentage also mobile devices. We've shown similar things, by the way, also with AV1, so the same thing is true for AV1. We see VVC as an excellent codec for applications that we're working on, and definitely in broadcasting, everything we're doing is with VVC, but also in mobile, we are working on exciting applications, especially in Asia.
So tell me how many times you've been to Mile High and why you come to Mile High.
Mile High is one of my favorite shows, frankly. It's a beautiful show from an intellectual point of view. The presentations are fantastic. The team, the organizing team, I won't mention them because I would skip somebody, but they're fantastic friends and excellent at selecting the topics and structuring the thought leadership part of the show. You can really see what's coming. Not just this year, but next year, but also 5 years down the road. So it's very visionary in what's being shown. It's also in terms of participation. It's a great way to spend 3 days with very relevant people in the industry, and you probably you saw it yourself. It's good quality time. We have so many partners here. Because as Vinova, we are all about open innovation. We are partnering with 52 companies. Most of them are here. So for me, it's a great way to advance all the projects that we are doing together. And so I see it as an excellent event, both in terms of topics and in terms of catching up all at once with people. If you go to events like NAB or others, it's like very 10 minutes. Here you can spend quality time, also have a half hour, 1 hour conversation, and then have a follow-up the day after. So, there's the time to do it, and it's excellent. Plus Denver, it's a good, we breathe fresh air.
Okay, Guido, thanks for taking the time, and I'll let you get back to your adoring audience here.
Yeah. Thank you very much, John. It's always a pleasure.